Hello, 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 and welcome once again to obviously a very, very wet Interlagos. And guys, actually going out on full wet, not just Inter, so it's very wet out there, raining very hard. Of course, tonight, round 9 here in Brazil. After this, one more race to go, then that would be the end of season 3. I know you guys can count. I know we didn't do a race 8, but of course around 8 was cancelled. A lot of guys not available last week. Of course, a big sporting event here in South Africa. We had a return of a Kyalami 9-hour endurance race. A lot of the guys rocked up there and of course spent time over there at the track. So around 8, which was obviously to be Spa, that has been cancelled. So we're straight into round 9 tonight. A couple of guys already on track going out. Speed Senna, one of them, of course, as we can see there, is actually sporting the Senna look helmet as well. We got Muna on the outlap, Staffy, Continator and Y Racer. Get some details up for us so we can see tires and stuff. Hopefully we might have a lighter rain. Ooh, Staffy losing the back end of that Red Bull. Damage the in plate, but he stays out, not diving into the pit. Track of course very wet, not easy to control the car when it's like this. I don't think it's going to be a dry quali, just probably lighter rain. But then again, strange things have happened before, won't be the first time. Of course, for those of you who knows the setup, who's been watching before, please feel free to join into the chat, share your comments there, and of course, please don't ask me funny questions, but of course there might be other people out there that can actually help answering it. But just post your comments there and be part of the chat. 12 runners tonight, so as it is now, all 12 will make it through to the next quali session. So no real need for speed, if I can put it like that, to be now. You just need to just feel the track, basically. It's all about a practice session, really, if you could call it that. Just to get a feel for it, see how the car handles, especially in these conditions, which Staffy also proved on his outlap, coming around now at the same spot where he lost it just now. Coming for the start finish line. No, and that's our lap time didn't count, so that lap was invalidated, and Continator provisionally 122.3. Muna now 121.9. Right back at you, Carters. Of course, Carter boys making it out all the way from the Eastern Cape to Kyalami. A couple of guys meeting each other the very first time. Quite a lack of time. Guys are still talking about it. Of course, next year there will be more. Because it is actually a long-term deal that was signed. And now there's also talks about WEC considering Kyalami as one of its venues on its calendar from 2021-22. So yeah, let's see this space. Let's see what happens. I must say, Staffy, for a spelling app, you're spelling very bad. Speed Senna now 121.5. Times coming down a bit, but of course not drastic. Just as the guys getting used to the conditions and feel more confident into those corners, of course they will have better their times. A couple of guys also not able to make it tonight. Work functions, of course, that time of year in functions. Guys also out of town for the sake of work, and good old-fashioned internet letting you down. Couple of yellow flags, but of course that would be just be the guys slowing down to let the faster guys come through. Nothing to worry about at this stage, at least. Staffy the slowest at the moment. As I say, that he actually improved his lap time. And Muno goes fastest, 1:21.1, and Staffy running wide here. Ooh, and cutting corners are plenty there. Rescue ratio with 2 minutes. Of course, a lot of guys not comfortable with wet conditions, and one thing about Interlagos, it can be very tricky in the wet. Staffy still with that end plate missing, but of course no need to go worry about changing. It's all about practice now, really. Of course all 12 will make it through, as I said earlier. Staffy just keep on mowing the lawn. I think you can call it anything else but that, mowing the lawn. Staffy's teammate for tonight, Wire Racer, 122.6 currently. Not Fernando retired. I wanted to say I don't think that was a decision to retire. Looking at the lap times, 1:35, which puts him below Rescue Racer. If that was a selective retirement, he would have been ahead of him. So we've got our first casualty. Not Fernando going out, so which leave us with 11 drivers still. Of course, if all 11 progress, it's only going to be one falling away in the next session. But of course, still early days. Another 9 minutes to go in this session. Watching 80. No, decides to come back in, not setting a lap, not setting any time for now. Of course, teammate Gafbeek also haven't set any time. Just to remind everybody, he retired without setting a lap. He is actually serving a quali ban, so to be honest, he's actually the other guy out, so it's going to be 10 drivers going through to the next session. Gafbeek serving that quali ban that he picked up, of course, in round 7 in Australia. Hey, Jaji! Jaji, ja, hy is, soos jy sal sê, hoendernat. You get my drift. Oh, Staffy, boo! Just learn to keep your wing intact, sunshine. Wire Racer coming into the pit as well. Not much between him and Muno at the moment. Just 1/10. 1:25 currently, all in the 1 minute 21s. But now with, of course, Gafbeek with that penalty that he's serving and not Fernando out, all 10 riders pretty much will go all the way to Q3, so no need to even push hard in Q2. And then nothing happens, Staffy. Just like your wing. Oh, and Rescue Racer having a big moment there. Too much throttle on that corner. It's already a bit of a tricky one in dry conditions. So yeah, imagine a full wet track. Ooh, still battling. Oh, not getting it. Following Staffy's lead from earlier in the session, mowing the lawn. And again, he just managed to bring it back. Just too much gas around those corners in the wet. You really need to throttle it just stretchably, and again spinning. Just too hard on the accelerator. Just showing Frickles where his teammate in action. Now he's missing the house tonight, unfortunately away for work purposes. Will not able to race tonight. And of course a devoted Haas fan or driver. Noah Raider joined, so it looks like we might actually have a couple of extra races by the time the race starts. And Pajama Lama now retired, which also looks like an actual incident. It's not a deliberate, it's definitely a crash. Of course, if I talk about deliberate, that's where you select to retire from the session rather than participating further. So we're down to 9 riders. Of course, just a reminder, we do not count Gav Peak. At the end of the session he will obviously be eliminated, but technically he did not set a lap given that penalty from the previous race. Hello Yuri-san! You talking about Mzansi there, Steph? And while he's doing that, so what's the score at the moment for him? How many deliveries? Just under 5 minutes to go. Vino out on track now. I see a lot of guys actually trying to attempt. Ooh, an 80 battling with no front wing. Of course, no need. That's a clever move. Retire. Don't need to risk it at this stage. So, which means we only got Vino on track. Rescue Racer going out again. And then of course Vino. Yeah, that's the only guys. Wires didn't set the lap, but as I say, it looks like he might be going out. Yep, both Mercs going out. From this angle it looks like the track a little bit dry, if I can call it that, but not much, because it's still pouring down, still full wet. And I see why it's actually sporting a very unique helmet design tonight. Still in the Halloween spirit, I see. Nice pumpkin helmet. So I think we can dub that Merc the pumpkin patch tonight. See if Risky manages to keep it all together this time. A little bit more patient. Oh, and as I say, that he spins again. Just too quick on the throttle, just too much. We hope he can get out of the way, because there's somebody approaching now. Going to the escape route, staying off track. There's some Merc on past. just allowing the second Merc as well to pass. Wise on the hot lap. Ooh, and this car seems like a real handful for Risky at the moment. Unable to control it. Thanks, Steph. That's actually decent. That's the AB Evolved. Bazanji Magic. Ooh, risky. Oh, manages to stay away from the barrier. But again, just too much throttle. Y Racer also out, which can only be for practice and to get used to the conditions. But I understand it might be a dry race. So, ooh, Y Racer having a bit of a moment there. See if YS manages to. Ooh, and Risky. No, it's just not going Risky's way at the moment. See if YS manages to post time this time around. Just waiting for these last couple of guys to finish their laps. That is YS, Risky and Y Racer. Having a look at this pumpkin helmet here from behind. Yeah, Frick, some of these corners here at Interlagos are very tricky. And now I'm talking about dry conditions. So we won't even say what it's like in conditions like this. So it's just about surviving qualifying. But of course now if you set up for a wet race and that whole race is dry, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Waiting for Risky to come around and finish his lap. Can he make the last couple of corners without incident? And the answer will be yes. And then of course just waiting for Y Racer. Here he comes. Onto the home straight now. And he's actually heading for the pit. Now that's also almost like to a pit delivery. Nice. But then again we know Klaassen can do that. Die Swanny boys. Hulle slaan hulle hard. And that's of course in deep contrast with the TnB boys. Waar Swanny hard slaan, party ons hard. There we go. That brings quali 1 to an end. And that's just confirmation of the guys going through, of course. Gav Peak will be eliminated from the qualifying as well because he did not set a time due to the penalty serving from the previous race. In theory the top 9 guys will go through, but stranger things has happened before. I did see someone before the same position as Gav Peak managing to go through to the next session, but of course if he does, he's still not allowed to set any lap time. Muna 121.1, Y Racer 121.1.2, and of course Speed Channel 121.5. That's your top 3 after Q1. Hey Steph, I thought you were a Cape Townian boy. Could support you die Swanny guys so. 5 overs left. What a chase. Oh, here we go. Lap 1 over the free. Yo! Noah Ryder left the session. I think he realized it's too late for qualifying and maybe his patience got the better of him. Gas peak indeed is still showing on the timing screens, but as said at the end of Q1 just now, he's not allowed to set a time. He is serving that penalty, even if he's still here, doesn't matter. So technically 9 riders here, and we've got the Mercedes boys going first again. And as I say that, here goes Renault. Muna also like to get his laps in and sit back and relax after that for just a few minutes left. Of course, if you do it early, it gives you time to come out again should there be a mistake. A couple of guys always like to leave it till the last possible moment. Problem is, if you leave yourself one lap, if you're not spot on with that lap, it can actually be disastrous. Judgy, ja, Varkie was bietjie stout. Previous race he was clucked into Staffy, and yeah, he drove a bit funny there. Also wet conditions and if I can actually defend him a little bit, but nonetheless, if you drive like that, you have to face the consequences. Yeah, Frickles, if I'm not mistaken, yes, there's a Captain 1 and then there's the pole team. But Staff is a vivid fan of Mazanzi, so he'll give you all the lowdowns that you need. Of course, as I said earlier, after this there's one more race to go, then this season will be something of the past. No league racing during December, a lot of people on leave, of course Christmas time, but if all goes well we should be back on air mid to end January with season 4. Of course we will also check availability. We had a couple of requests from guys who want to join. So we'll see how it goes, and then we could put another one together. And once, AD, nice save. That could have easily been a retirement. Of course, once we have availability, it's a matter of determining who will be in which teams. That is actually the luck of a draw, if you can call it that. A couple of the faster guys can be selected, so that each team's got a faster driver and then maybe a slow driver, and call them that. But of course, all of that will be sorted out in the new year when we do the next season, of course, in the new year. We had instances before we would open it and the guys could choose which teams, but yeah, we'll see how it goes and which format we use. But if it's a luck of a draw kind of thing, unfortunately no one can select the team. You drive for the team that you pretty much picked for, if I can call it that. Right, we've seen a couple of good lap times coming in there. Muna now under 121s, picking up where he left off in Q1, 120.8, Continental 121.0. Pete Senna pretty much still the same time he did in Q1, 121.5, and then Risky's up there, 121.7. Looks like he's starting to get the hang of that horse now. Hello, Izzy. Wat wonder van nice is om jou terug te hê, weet jy dit? Just getting back to Bino, just as he rejoined, ran a while a little bit. standing in for the Renault team tonight. No Robo Jeep. We know 6 at the moment, 128. Wise on a 135. Some 7 seconds off Vino's pace at the moment. And Vino 5 seconds off Staffy. But again, it's only Q2. All of his cars will go through to Q3, so no need to do anything silly. It's about just getting used to these conditions. Because with this rain, it's going to be a wet pole shootout. The one who can master these conditions the best will get that pole position. Ooh, and Vino gets a 5 pace grid penalty for a collision with Staff. Just seeing after the effects of that bit of debris there. Looks like there is some damage on that Renault. Yeah, Risky's definitely looking a lot better than what he did at the end of Q1. And we got yellow flags again. Yeah, no, just somebody actually moving out of the way. And Gafbig actually ignoring the penalty, actually going out on circuit. Okay, can somebody perhaps say some info as to why Gafbig is out on track and he's not adhering to his penalty? Some of the guys obviously might be in the chat there with him. Maybe it was a call made, everybody agreed to it. But you know what, rules are rules, penalties need to be served. And the full verdict of his penalty outcome was actually a quali ban with a suspended race ban. And ignoring the penalty will actually result in a race ban. Staffy of course feels he did enough. Of course you don't need to feel it, he already did enough. Because all these guys will be back for Q3. Yeah, I know, Staff, that's unfortunately a problem. That's why I actually mentioned it at the end of Q1, because I saw it before. You actually retire without posting a time, and then the game for some reason pull you through to the next session. Fact remains, he should have remained in the pits. He should have actually said retire again. And yet he now decided to go out on track and post a lap time. Oh well, he's on a hot lap, unless he dives into the pits now. Or he pulls a stunt on him like a rescue racer. Too much throttle. Ooh, he almost actually caused a collision there. Gavin, you're on thin ice. Nope, he stays out. Well, Staff, that's too late. He posted the time and he almost caused a collision. Nice riding there, I think, from Risky Race, who managed to avoid him. And this is just proving again, unfortunately, Gavy's not the most patient guy, which is actually what got him this penalty in the first place. If he was just a little bit more patient with that front wing damage in the rain, he could have avoided all of this. Oh well, we will discuss, obviously. I'm sure the stewards will actually watch the stream. We'll have to discuss hear what the stewards say. They will forgive him for ignoring. Otherwise, he's going to miss the last race of the season. Judge, I'm with Steph on that one. I also think not. Because if you wander too far off the track, it actually automatically resets you. And yet, if you look at the stream, there was more than enough space for him to turn around and manage his own way back. But unfortunately, the way the game is programmed, if you go off a little too far, it automatically do that. At the top, we still got Moon at 120.8. Y Racer also now under the 1 minute 21, 120.9. Risky at 121.0. Quintanator also 121.0. 200ths of Risky's pace. Senna still on his speed that on his lap time that he actually posted earlier, still the 121.5. Vino also now enough's enough, just over 3 minutes to go. Already knows he will participate in Q3. No need to do anything silly. Judge, it makes two of us. I'm also not a fan of that. Especially if you got the car actually under control, the computer actually picks up something different and it resets you, in the meantime you had it under control. I also don't like ghosting of a lap cars. It takes away a certain element of us. The whole idea is that you must come to the back marker, he must get the blue flag, he must move over. That actually adds to the real experience of racing. Now to set it to ghosting, you just drive up to the guy and drive through him. On which of course in real life you can't do. So no, I'm also not a fan. It would be nice, yeah, because look, the ghosting one I know you can. The reset one, no, I don't think so. But the ghosting one you can definitely choose. When you do create a lobby, it's part of your lobby settings when you can select ghost lap cars to ghost or not. I actually had a lobby thing about 2 weeks ago where I actually played with that setting. Did a bit of a couple of laps, you know, a race or two, 5 lappers with it on and then with it off. And I still prefer it to be off. You rather lap the guy, you know, the old-fashioned way. Because I said 5 lappers, it was all about testing just to see how it works out, because there's also info that the guys need when we go into the next season. It's something that we rather want on or off. So far my verdict is keep it off. But then again, you guys will be the riders. I'll probably sit here again streaming, so it's for you guys actually to decide, not for me. Ghosting off means no ghosting when passing back markers, so you'll have to pass them the old-fashioned way, Steph. You'll have to wait for them to get out of your way. If ghosting is on, it means they ghost when you're close enough and you just drive through them. Kind of like what you would have had on GT Sport. Yeah, which again, that's also a valid point, Judgy. At the end of the day, if you put on ghosting, so you don't need to move over, he must just ghost. You know, well, sorry, he won't ghost, he must just drive his own way because he's going to ghost anyway. But yet, he gets a penalty for not getting out of the way, but you don't need to get out of the way technically because you can drive through him. So yeah, that's also a couple of things that they can fix. Hopefully, if they don't do patches on this, at least keep that in mind for future versions of the game. Yeah, that's the other thing. That's a lot of people complain about that, being it career mode, being it online where AI takes over the car when the user disconnected or whatever. Unfortunately, AI is not responsive to blue flags. A lot of people are actually complaining about the AI in that sense. Of course, what I've said, here we go. It's pretty much just the peak that needs to finish. He's out of fuel, crawling towards the pit. Once he finished or select retire, then the session will be over. Hello Raptor. Kan julle daarom iets gevang as so Raptor? Right, just waiting for Piggy when we can get to Q3. Of course, some exciting news. Okay, if I say exciting, I'm excited about it. Some other guys are as well, but some people not really very excited, but call it mixed reactions. Of course, big news breaking is Codemasters buying out, of course, Slightly Mad Studios. There's just confirmation, Muna again first for this session as well, Y Racer second and Risky Racer third. But of course all 10 cars you see there, even with a pig included, will make it through to Q3. So yes, so Codemasters buying out Slightly Mad Studios, the creators of Project Cars 1 and 2. I personally believe it's going to be some interesting times for Codemasters with F1, because Project Cars still remains one of their best, if not the best, simulating racing games. Of course, if you look at real life versus the simulator, it's as close as you can get. F1 still got some development to do to be exactly like that. But you know what, now with Slightly Mad around, you never know. Eish, ou Judgy, jy moet altyd lelik raak nie. Het jy daarom 'n bietjie buffel daar by jou om die lonely aand om te kry? Muna not hanging around. Of course, if range not can improve, you rather want to go early. Still full wets, no sign of inters. If Gav can actually wait for the whole grid to pass him on the start, all will be forgiven. It would be stupid for Codemasters to get involved into the Project Car franchise. They must just leave whatever has been done, to continue. But take that input, that development, think about how to incorporate it in F1. When it's actually a win-win situation, and talking about win-win, they will obviously see revenue. We will actually experiencing awesome racing games, which means obviously we will buy more racing games. So if they do this smart, it's actually going to be win-win. Lekker man, lekker. Daar so frikkie. Geniet hom. Niks is ou buffeltjie mee alleen eintjies om te kry nie. course, Raptor, one of the reserve drivers. You guys would have seen him in a few races. Unfortunately, a bit on the lonely side, out at sea, working. So Raptor, sorry nee, but dis al amper weer 'n week. Voordat jy weet is dit weer verby. Wiener now also on the outlap, Staff is still in the pits, and so is Senna. Not sure if Gavpeak is going to stay in the pits this time or he's going to surprise us again by coming out. Muna 120.9, slightly slower than his Q2 time. Saw him diving there on the inside, close to the barrier coming over. Ooh, and Senna retired. He got caught out somewhere on track. Why race? Not sure if it's just to let the Merc pass or if that car got to a real handful situation for him. Jaji, I think that will be probably any like 3 to 4 weeks, if not longer. If I'm not mistaken, I think he did say that he will be out at sea during the holiday period. So a lonely Christmas for poor Raptor. Risky currently second, 121.3, just staying in that 121 range. Only guys so far into the 120s is Muna and of course Y Racer. Both did it in Q2, and now Muna repeating that in Q3, but as I said, slightly slower than his Q2 time. And Gavpeak again ignoring the penalty and actually going out. Uno problema, no comprende. True that, Judge. That's the other thing. Hoe vinnig kan hom klaarmaak? Oh, and Gavpeak, I think, finally got the message. Maybe Jeff finally woke up and he actually decided to dive into the pits this time. But it's still a little too late. He should have not gone out in the first time. Why did you do, Steph? Why did you do? Too throttle happy? Okay, so it's sport. It's either you're surprised that we do speak English this side of the world, or you're asking to stick to English. Well, there is a bit of Afrikaans comments in between now and then, but the stream will majorly be in English. Of course, this is Africa after all. There's a lot more than just giraffes and lions. There's a bunch of wild animals and it's called the TnB bunch. I can promise you there's no wilder animal than a TnB animal, especially when he's actually out hunting for a mate. But then I think Pete will tell us all about that. Risky slowing down to a complete still almost. Perhaps trying to build some gap here between him and the cars in front so he can have one solid go at it again. Roaming free or free roaming? All the way, Frick, all the way. But there's nothing wrong with having a branders at Buffelsfontein. Muna on outlap, so is risky. Vino 121.2. Ooh, running off a tricky corner, well, sequence of corner there, just after into the first, second, third corner. It's tricky in the dry. Now, yeah, not obviously we can see it's not going to be wet in the wet. Oh, and 80 looks like make contact there with Vino. Vino going very slow and not getting out of the way. And Vino already have a 5-place grid penalty for contact with Staffy in Q2. Maybe you guys watching it on the stream, you can tell us what you think there, but it looks like Vino actually was on the racing line into that corner. Either he did not see 80 or he actually got caught out completely. But he was in 80's way there. Oh, so it was AI, thanks Steph. I can also explain why the car didn't get out of the way, because Vino's not typically that type of driver. And like you said earlier, Steph, AI is not renowned to get out of the way. But then you must also ask, why, if you're on track, why you're AI? Rather stay in the pits then if you can't control your car. Park it and then retire, because there was also a lot of requests, if you want to retire, don't retire just on track, driving to the pits and then retire. Hence a lot of guys actually, even at the end of the session, still driving to the pits first and then retire. I know a lot of guys are considered to other drivers, but of course with glitches and stuff still happening, you can't be too safe. When I'm still sitting pretty there in first place. Can AD actually come out in time? We put to post a lap time. Is he actually going to have a go or not? That we will have to wait to see. If you come out now, there will be enough time for one fast lap. And why Racer actually do take it to the 120s again, this time by some margin, 120.4. But Muna also improved on his time, 120.5. So again, it's just 1/10 between the two of them. This time just the other way around than earlier. Of course Q2 was at 1/10, but Muna topping the timesheet. And 80 is out on track now. But I don't think he will have enough time to post a lap. Just over a minute, of course. It is a short track, but in the rain it's at least, as you can see there from the time screens, a 121, 120-ish. Yeah, Codemasters fix, but some things seems to never be fixed. It keeps to be broken. It can like to still be a mess up. When I just pushing car, stepping out there momentarily, managed to reclaim it coming past. Why race of a guy is trying to beat you for pole. Coming now flat out start finish line. You might actually have enough time to do another lap. Yes, I'm gonna still have time though. It's now or never. Why is done 80 done, definitely we was not in time for another lap. Going down now. Guys, let's just make sure they get out of the way, don't want to be in somebody's way. that's the thing. With project cars, you never see any updates. The last time I actually updated project cars when I was installed it, and it's how long ago? Because you hardly need to update because there is nothing to update because it's working properly. So yeah, so if that in its own way can be a good sign for codemasters, if they can actually adapt that. Muna's given up by the looks of it, going slow here. Yeah, he's run out of battery life as well. Red lights there, flashing back of the car means he's actually out of energy. That means Y Racer is definitely got for a pole there. And Muna, I think he's just going to dive into the pits or not, but not going really fast either. Ran out of fuel as well probably. So Y Racer gets the pole here with Muna second, Vino third, Risky fourth, Quintinator fifth, just waiting for him to retire when the session will be over, and Y is of course in sixth. There's just confirmation of your top three. Of course the rest of the guys as we finished. Staffy retired without setting a time. 80 did not set a time in the end. Senna also retired without setting a time. Gav Peak retired. Should have actually retired also in Q2. And only guys pretty much from 1 to 6 are the ones who managed to post a lap in the session. Y Racer, Muna and Vino. Just waiting for everybody to finish up so we can start the race. But I do believe it's going to be a dry one. Right, just waiting for everybody to finish their race strategies and finish setting up, when we can go. Yeah, Frickles, in fact, yeah, the Carter boys have a problem with internet. It seems like there is a issue with a local tower that is being worked on tonight. But looks like they're not going to make it for the race, and actually, as I said, that we're already at formation lap, so no, if you haven't joined by now, there's no way you will be part of a start. Noah Raider did rejoin, so he's going to be part of the race. Yeah, but the one positive is it sounds like they both can have their own connection in the not too distant future, which will actually be better for both of them. Because looks like running from one router is not the best thing to do, especially if you want to race. Yeah, and little Scott himself is too exciting. You need to calm down a little bit. Scotty, if you're listening, many WhatsApp messages count as harassment, eh? Blink, blink, wink, wink. Right, gents, all jokes aside, here we go. Just waiting for the grid to line up. and we can be underway. Of course, slight uphill here on the pull away. Just watching for the lights, if we're going to see some lights from this angle. 2, 3, 4, 5, and away we go. Who can react the best? Who can take full advantage here? Risky having a look on the inside, not going to have it. Muna actually having a brilliant start. He's going to challenge Yuri on the inside. Still sticking with him. Can he have a better line? The Red Bull going slightly wide. Renault's on the inside. Yuri now trying to get some slipstream here so he can actually try to reclaim in the next corner. Risky staying with him. Yuri on the outside having a look. Muna still on the better line. But of course, the Red Bull is not giving it up. So he said, oh, and there's some contact there. The Merc actually spun in the back end. Wing damage for sure. So just looking at the two in the front, really going at each other. Side by side. Muna still in front for now. Looks like the Merc there with the damage is Quintinator. Yep, front wing is damaged there. Sure, it looks like the Noah Raider might be in pit. I think he's not showing on track at the moment. Yeah, there we go. More than just the end plate on that Merc. Severe damage to that left part of the front wing. He will have to pit. And Y Racer obviously fastest. He actually managed to get in front of Muna. And now Risky Racer also. But just to remind you, Muna is on the harder tyre. So Muna obviously going to go for a much longer first stint here. As Quintinator comes into the pit, and still no sign of Noah Raider. So I'm not sure if he actually did join me into his name just still showing. Just trying to see a couple of battles here. Staffy on the right on 80. Staffy on the hard tyres. Odd one out hard, and then of course Muna, Pajama Llama and Quintinator now going on mediums. So pretty much the guys starting odd ones out, the Staffy on hard, Llama on mediums and Muna on mediums. Of course Risky Racer took the lead there from Y Racer, but Y Racer is not going to give up on it. Y is also keeping up with him very nicely. Top 4 at the moment, actually top 5 you could say, all within a second. Well, now top 4. Gap Big just falls out of a second range. Wise goes fastest. Y Racer trying to have a look here, Risky covering his line. Senna now going fastest. Gap Big not able to hang on to these four. It's not far off, just over a second, but they're actually pulling a couple of tenths out of him. Looks like it's actually a couple of tenths per sector. But the top 4 still pretty much staying intact with each other. Vino now making a move on the Ferrari of Pajama Llama. Staffy still keeping 80 honest. Of course 80 on the soft tyre. Staffy on the harder tyres, we already said. Staffy now going to have a look on the inside. Thought better of it. He's going to have another go here. Can defend his line running a bit wide there. Surely that will help Staff, who's got a much better drive of a line. Staff going on the outside, going too much. Oh, he goes too wide. Oh, Staff too much, way too much. Overcooked it. And Gapik already with a 3-second time penalty, and we're only on lap 4. Staff just running way too much, just too much fuel. Too heavy on the accelerator, yeah, and he's straight into the pits. That front wing was looking on the outside, never easy. Of course, 80 kept his line. Staff had the much better drive out of a corner. Staff had momentum coming up uphill, but he decided to go and to be outside, and in the process just going a little too wide. And yeah, once you're on the far outside, it's a bit tricky. And unfortunately, it showed Staff here how unforgiving it can be. Staff all the way down to 12 now. Race still long, anything can happen. Muna now with 3-second time penalty. Of course, still another 32 laps after this, so anything can still happen. Frickles, we invite to a party chat, that's also, you get spammed with it. Times, Scotty must know, harassment is it's an offence, ne? It's a criminal offence. But yeah, I can think Scotty, shame. He was looking forward to this race. Fortunately, internet issues preventing him tonight. Only 11 or 12 years old and still racing, and already racing at this league. Well, not only this league, several other leagues racing at this level. So yeah, good thing, start out early. By the time he comes and gets to our age, he will be a real professional. But of course, what you want now, later in life, is not the same, so we don't know if he sticks to PlayStation going forward. Still the top guys staying pretty much with each other. Risky Racer not really getting away, everybody pretty much in DRS range from the car ahead. Only one with a bit of advantage at this moment is Y Racer, because the car in front, being a Risky Racer, he will not have DRS. The guys behind Y Racer, of course, will also have DRS, but with his DRS open, he pretty much counter that. Hence I'm saying he's got the advantage. Because all of them having DRS, the one in front with DRS will counter the other. Lama being close to Senna, but Senna of course now passed him. Senna is a guy on the move. Soon he will have Vino just over 3 seconds ahead of him at the moment. And he's pretty much with Gafbig. Vino having a much better line. Gafbig having to go on the defensive dive to the inside. But Vino actually keeps momentum on the outside, runs wide, cuts the corner. No, he's going to have to give it back. But in the process, Gafbig with another 3-second time penalty. But then again, Gavin, what else is new? The king of those 3-second penalties, ne? Of course, Vino just now to build up again, waiting for the right moment. Risky Racer and so why is 3-second time penalty. Guys just taking too much of a corner, just going too much on the apex. Muna actually also in a good position here, although in third. Remember, he can actually go longer, he's got the medium tyre, and if he stays on their pace, way on the faster tyre, if he can stay with him, he can really capitalise when they pit. But Muna with a bit of a mistake, which actually allows wires through. So Muna will now have to try to fight his way back, because he also lost time to Y Racer and Risky Racer. But if Wires can push him and he can stick to Wires, he will soon be back up with him again. Staffy now with 3-second time penalty, pushing like a mad dog there at the back. Trying to make up some places, some time at first, then places if he finally catch up with somebody. It's going to take one hell of a race from him to be able to do that. And funny enough, he elected to come out on the soft tyres again to try to make up time aplenty. Speed Senna now with Gav Peak, who was actually passed by Vino. Senna definitely forgot to move. He will actually now also be within a second from Vino, and a lap or two ago it was still 3 seconds. Guy really on the move here. Gav Peak running wide, but will make him vulnerable in this next sequence of corners, running a little bit wide again. Senna definitely in a better position. Again, good traction, good drive from the line. Gav Peak stays on the outside. Senna definitely gonna have a look on the inside. Yeah, and Senna makes it happen. Gav Peak loses another position. Surely Vino will be under pressure soon from Senna. Gav Peak not letting Senna go. He's going to have a look. Gav Peak not the most patient. If he's going to see that gap is going to go, he's not going to think twice about it. Yeah, Arne Koen is going to need a lot of that. Unfortunately, bit of contact on the first lap. He lost a couple of positions, having to put for a wing on the first lap. He's busy with his fight back, but Staff gaining behind him. He's 11 seconds behind not Fernando, who's currently in the last points paying position. Speed Senna now with Vino. Meantime, Muna actually back into third ahead of Wires. Speed Senna gonna have to look on the outside. Vino keeping his line, keeping his cool. Both drivers leaving each other enough space, nothing silly. Gav Peak falling away now, and Speed Senna see his opportunity. He's actually going to go on the inside, a bit of a late moment, but he saw the gap, he's going to take it. Looks like we tried to close there, a bit of contact, we're having to go wide, but that's all that Senna needed. Senna now will obviously start chasing after Wires in fourth. Not that far ahead of him. Of course, the top four still Muna just now 2 seconds behind. Lost a bit of time as well battling with Wires. Of course, keep an eye on that tyre life. If the soft tyres will drop off sooner, so when these mediums should come back to Muna, and that's the time that you really need to capitalize. Otherwise, this strategy was completely wrong. Gav Peak now, yeah, Gav Peak actually with Vino now, caught up here. But yeah, it's one thing catching up, it's another passing, and we know not the easiest to pass either. But then again, as I said before, Gav Peak not the most patient driver out there either. That's the spirit, that is the spirit, that's how you do it. Making sure race is race. It's like me when I travel, the PS goes with. You will make sure it happens. I know, if I may ask, where in Gauteng do we find you guys? We're now with another 3-second time penalty now, really pushing. Because we obviously have the first round of pit stops happening, risky race in the pit. Gav Peak with another 3-second time penalty. The area is wide open, but still no way past Vino for now. Wires in front of Muna again. You know, I'm aware that Quentin is all the way there from Hazyview, of course. Kruger National Park territory. We're aware of that. We're just wondering where you were. So yeah, Centurion, luckily not that far, but 20, yeah, no, I'm lying. About 30-40 minutes drive from where I am. Now, so nice to see that the passion is there. Where you travel you actually take your whole setup with. Never mind, race, there will be serious racing done. But then again, his teammate is not available tonight, so obviously you need to fly the Merc flag high. The moment Wires, a reserve driver in the Merc, not doing a bad job in 8th, so of course just stopped. He decided to go into the hard tyre. So if he all works well, he probably will not pit again. And Rescue Racer 3-second time penalty. Trick, if a Quintonator is like you, there will always be a Buffalky not too far behind. No matter where you go, there's always going to be a Buffalky. But boys, I must tell you one thing. It's something that the judge might not be always the bestest of the guys on the grid, but I must tell you, this guy's meltertjies, my word. So Frikkels, hy loop lekker, maar hy klap vir jou stikkend. So daai goedering wil ek net slap. Right, Muna still sitting there in second, Jet to pit. Y-Racer obviously also to pit, he's still on the softs. How far can he push the softs? All the other leaders on the softs have pitted, the likes of Wires and Risky Racer. How long can Y-Racer push these softs? Can he actually take it some distance? Muna closing now. Finally the mediums are coming to him, because now the softs will start to drop off. And not too far from now, Y-Racer actually going to start losing time, and he decided to stay out for another lap. Of course, and the best part is commentary, because you don't need to have a special seat for your glass. You can actually have a glass for each hand. But that's how it should be. You drive with your like a wheel, one hand free like you do in Joburg, the other hand is to hold your glass. Y-Racer, just give a gap, is steadily coming down. Senna also out there still on softs, and so is Vino. This guy's really pushing those softs now, but the question is how far can they go before they completely drop off, and what time do they actually lose by staying out longer, because surely they won't gain real time, because as the tyre actually depreciates, it's actually going to affect the lap times. And as you can see, Muna is now within less than 1.5 seconds, so it was just now 1.8 when they came around the start finish line the previous lap. So whole 7 tenths already. So yeah, Muna really catching up with him. So Y-Racer will have to make a decision. Is it worth staying out longer, bearing in mind even if Muna is on the different tyre, what about the likes of Risky Racer and Wise who's on the same strategy? You also need to fend them off as much as he's trying to keep Muna at bay. Muna now within DRS range. Of course, Muna when he comes out will probably be on the soft tyres, unless he also decides to go hard and not to stop again. Y Racer now heading towards the pit. Muna will take the lead. What can he do from here? Can he build some sort of gap? Senna also pitting. Both speed drivers in the pits. So is Vino. 80, the other guy still on the soft as well. Also 15 laps. Will he also be pitting this lap? Currently in the final points paying position with not Fernandez pitting. Not Fernando, I mean Gafbeek again, 3-second time penalty, and not Fernando now also. Praat van melktertjies, ek dink gaan sommer nou weer vir my skink. 80 staying out. He's actually chasing down Gaff, who's on the hard tires. He pretty much stopped 2 laps ago. Wise also on hards, but the idea is not to stop again. But Senna's on the softer tyre and he's definitely the faster car. Wise will soon be under pressure. Senna definitely the guy at the moment to watch. He's got the speed, he's got the reliability, look after those tyres, he can actually be the guy to beat right at the end. Ja, vir ek nog so 'n halwe bottel oor. So ver sluk ek nog elke aand so enetjie, maar hel man, dit help jou lekker slaap. And hello Rowan and Rowan, welcome. The more people watching the better, and of course if you like Arnay, guys please feel free to post comments, be part of the chat. Yeah, it's only my voice, but nothing stops you from chatting this way and we all chat together. Of course, the job is now on Quentin to convince you guys to make the switch and make sure you become boy racers like him, so hopefully we can also see you this side of the stream next time and not in the comment section. Risky Racer 14 seconds, of course he will reclaim first position when Muna pits. Seems like Y Racer will also be safe, touch and go for Speed Senna. But it will be you can look after the tyres the best from here on, the least amount of pit stops. Of course Y is also still in the running there. Gafbeek actually in the pits again. He actually decided to chuck for hard tyres and in the process actually buggering up his race. Ouch! But then again, Arne, with the heat we're experiencing, I think outside might not be a bad deal either. Oh, and Y is retired. Y is crashed out. DNF. Y is unfortunately not sure what happened there. It was looking good. Quentin now actually going up to 7th place, already 17 laps on those mediums of ease. He and Muna now really pushing those medium tyres. And not Fernando disqualified, parking and unsafety. Another 16 laps to go after this one, so we lost YS, not Fernando. Noah Radio of course never started. He joined earlier in qualifying, then left and never managed to come back, but he's still registered as being here, but he's not here. Drive-through penalty, speeding under safety car for AD. Safety car out of course, that's why Vino's in the pits again in such a short space of time. Guys actually now pitting towards the end of a race. Safety car will surely catch up, of course. A nice gap that Muna opened up to Risky Racer, but now the safety car will actually make that all disappear. If Muna can actually come into the pits now as well, he's going to have to counter these guys. and he does. No, he must just break it the right time, and he manages to slow down in time. No penalty this time around. If he can just now reserve some of his tyre life behind the safety car, just keep it all nice and clean, no unnecessary wear on the tyres while behind the safety car. Oh, and Risky Racer also decided to pit, and so did Y Racer and Raya. Y Racer pick up a 5-second time penalty, and Muna actually the winner because all of them decided to stop. So Senna, the top 4 now on soft tyres. 15 laps to go after this. A lap or two behind the safety car. If you look after your tyres, you're not going to wear them, so they will pretty much be able to push it to the end. Especially if you see these guys who did 14-15 laps on the soft tyres, that's pretty much all they need to do again. So they pretty much set towards the end of the race, unless something happens or something goes terribly wrong. Lots of beer, and he's still in the race. I'm surprised. Is he becoming a second Wazzy? But like Frick says, I rather thought he would have some buffels in him. Clearly, duidelijk skop hy buffel om te hard. Dan drink hy maar bier. There you go. There's your leaders behind the safety car. Of course, every lap that you do behind the safety car, at reduced speed obviously saves fuel, and you can actually save tyres as well. So although these guys in the first stint did 15 laps, they will do 15 laps, but keep in mind not all of those laps will be at high speed because they're completing it behind the safety car. Of course, also at the start of the race the cars were fully loaded. Now that fuel would have burned down, so the car also better in terms of handling, which will also reduce the tyre wear bit. So all of them actually pitted. The likes of Yuri and Y Racer might have actually been able to make it to the end of the race. 3-4 laps on those mediums and a couple of laps here behind safety car, they could have finished on the mediums. But Muna pitting, he's on the soft tyre, he would have been in a better position, he would have had the faster tyre. So they had to count to him now, so he actually put he actually switched it into his favour. But now with them all on the same tyre, and then we have a restart behind the safety car, we can actually have a four-way dash for the finish line. I expect the Ferrari to drop off a little bit while the top 4 is going to pull away. If we don't see any mistakes or disconnects or anything like that, we're in for a good couple of last laps here. 4 guys going for the finish line, always interesting. And especially if those 4 guys end up next to each other in the same corner. Why is just a reminder? We can report it to the stewards. I see you look upset, so I didn't see that unfortunately on the stream. But nothing stops you to share some footage if you have, and then if you want to report something, then the stewards can actually look into it after the race. And we are racing once again, and Risky on the inside of Muna. For a brief moment there, Y Racer was also wanting to have a look at that. Gap pick with another 3-second time penalty. Risky Racer of course timed it just perfectly. And Y Racer is going to have a look on the inside. No, not this time round. It's pretty much exactly how this race started out, with Muna and Y Racer battling like that. And Y Racer is going to actually make it stick this time, and Muna down to third. Now Senna's going to have a look at him, and Senna actually goes on the inside, and Muna falling off. Not sure if there was a mistake or there was some sort of contact. Oh, and we got a racing point there also on the side. That is Gav Peak. No wing, of course, now spinning out, no patience. Yeah, no, lots of damage on that front wing, and they actually decided to retire. Giving up. We are down to 9 riders, so pretty much everybody here is in the points. Muna staying out, looks like we might not be wing damage, but the Ferrari coming into the pits, and so is the other racing point of AD. Staffy was starting to smile, even bigger safety car playing into his hands. But now, of course, he would have gained a few positions as well. Looks like Lama upset a few guys there. But of course, you need to report it and you need to actually submit your footage, otherwise there is no inquiry afterwards. Just saying that for the sake of overseas riders who don't have access to the group chat where these things are normally discussed. Of course, you can send your footage via Twitter or via WhatsApp. Racer falling further back to Rescue Racer, who's now really pushing. Senna's going to have a go at Y Racer, of course. Both speed guys will know each other very well, and Senna going on the outside, making it stick. Lama now at the back of the grid in 9th place, only 9 runners remaining. 11 laps to go after this one. Really looking good for Red Bull. Both drivers currently in the top 6. Yellow flag out. Ooh, and Vino's got damage, front wing gone. Not gone entirely yet, but lots of damage there, having to pit. We're now up to 6 now, chasing down Staffy. Closest battle moment there is Y Racer trying to chase down Speed Senna, and Muna now obviously in DRS range from Staffy. Lama now will gain a position with Vino still in the pit. Ooh, and Staffy goes wide. Off track there, which pretty much is a golden opportunity for Muna. Now back up to 5th. Muna now sitting after Quintonate, who's running in a solid 4th at the moment. So he of course didn't decide, he decided not to pit when these guys actually pitted, so he's still on the medium tyres. Y Racer with another time penalty. Of course this will also have to be taken into account at the end of a race. A couple of guys had several so far. Lama now with his 3-second time penalty. Yeah, Quinton kept it solid after that first lap spin. He actually kept on going, and yeah, to forfeit the moment. We're not gaining fast, so Quintanator actually holding the gap, maintaining that gap to Muna. That 303 Renault can't catch the wild Mercedes, at least not for now. We know, gonna have a look at Lama tries to the outside, Lama trying to defend on the inside. But surely Vino will have us, yeah, and Vino does. Vino now back into 8. And he will now chase after 80, who's just in front of him. Lama trying to hold on to the back of it Renault. Muna did manage to gain some time on Quinton. Now gap is down to below 2.5. It was over 3 seconds not long ago. And so alright with Risky Racer, we actually have 2 guys going for the lead here. Vino with a 3-second time penalty. See what speed can do here. Vino still at the back of 80, so is Lama on the back of him. Here we go, 80 defending on the inside, but Vino is going to make it on the outside. And Lama also decided to push his luck, and he managed to get past. The Racing Point now down in 9th place. Ooh, that looked freaky. 80 trying to go back at Lama, brake late. And then it looks like the Racing Point climbed on the Ferrari's back. That's obviously lag. Looks like no damage to either car there. Looking for leaders. Senna keeping Risky Racer honest. And elsewhere we got Muna right in the back of Quintanator now. Quintanator won't breathe easily. Muna also on the softer tyre and 1 lap newer. Five laps to go. Can Quinton hold off Muna? And we got a yellow flag. But let's just brief. Everybody's still in there. Cutting back into Muna. See. Yeah, Quinton still holding his line, not making it easy. Surprising, it seems like a couple of guys are actually from the Pretoria Centurion area. Of course, we all know where Nissi comes from. Of course, already V also not too far from Bay. We're now right on the back of that Merc. Quinton staying on the inside to defend. Muna's keeping there. Slipstream late going outside. Staying on the outside, he will have the inside line this time round, and he's actually gonna make it stick. Having the outside line will end up on the inside line into that corner, and he actually used it to his advantage. Rescue Racer now with another 3-second time penalty, which plays further into the hands of Senna, who's got least amount of time penalties thus far. Just keeping like this will actually promote Senna to the race winner. Muna now past Quinton, who's now down to 5th. Muna now trying to catch up with these guys in front. Tresky just pulling out a little bit of a gap, still less than a second, but just some breathing space. Gap now between YRS and Muna is down to it's down to below 6 seconds. And yet another time penalty, this time to AD. Staff is still running in 6th place. YRS is still in 3rd. Both Red Bulls holding on to their positions. Three laps to go after this one. Senna now more than a second behind Rescue Racer. Took a couple of tenths out of Y Racer. The process leaving Quinton a bit behind. Muna now with 3-second time penalty, just pushing a little too hard. Or just pushing hard, you just get an extra wheel, or just, you know, with 2 wheels just further off, and that will be seen as, of course, exceeding the track limits, and that's a penalty. Again, we got yellow flags. Looks like 80 is going slow. Y Racer catching Senna. Now with a 3-second time penalty, and we are on the penultimate lap, and looks like Gav Peak's, no, for a moment I thought Gav Peak's car was ghosting, but it's actually AD who's into the pits. But yeah, got some wing damage, that explains the yellow flags we had. Just falling back, not on the same pace as Muna, catching Y Racer but not fast enough to make any real indent. And Rescue Racer comes around to, will now start the final lap of the race. Here we go, lap 36 out of 36. Drukkie vir jou dalwe All Gold, die nommer van All Gold 36. Ooh, Y-Racer and Senna having a good go there at the back. Looks like Y-Racer actually made it. Yes, he did. But even in this position, I still believe Senna's in a better position time penalty wise. Here we go, Vino going very slow. It looks like it. Rescue Racer now coming to the home straight, final time, dashing for the finish line, and Rescue Racer takes the win. Y-Racer will come in second. There we go, there's confirmation. Speed Senna jumping both Risky and Y-Racer because of the least amount of penalties. We've got Senna, Rescue Racer, Quinton actually also get promoted to third place with Muna into fourth. Y-Racer down to fifth. It's all about those time penalties. Staffy will bring back his Red Bull there in sixth place. Lama around the final corners now. 85-second time penalty, which he didn't serve earlier in this round of pit stops. And we're just waiting for Vino. Here we go, final corner, finish line, and that is it. Of course, Y-Racer getting the 5 bonus points for the pole position, but Senna ultimately gets awarded the win here, all thanks to time penalties. Time for champagne, podium. So just a reminder for all of you guys out there, now will be the F2 sprint race. We're not going to stop the stream unless there's issues with the lobby, like happened, which we had with a previous race or so. Otherwise, if there's no issues, we're going to just keep stream live. I'll be just off air slightly, just about setting up the lobby for the F2, and that's reverse grade order, so it's going to take a little bit longer. Pretty much everybody on the grid there has got penalties. All drivers actually got penalized with some sort of penalty. Only not Fernando disqualified, but it's possible. But every driver has got a penalty. Confirmation: Senna your winner here with Rescue Racer second and Quinton Nater third. Muna fourth, Y-Racer in fifth. Staffy finishing a solid sixth with Lamont seventh, Vino eighth, and AD ninth. As I said, just bear with us a little bit. We will be back shortly. Right, and we are back. Just waiting for everybody to ready up, then we can go F2. Goes reverse grid order from the F1 race. As you can see, there also different weather. Wet qualifying in F1, dry race, and now overcast conditions here. And looks like we got our first fatality. Staff deciding he's sprinting alright, but sprinting for the door rather than sprinting on track, not participating in the F2 race tonight. We will have, of course, a formation lap. So formation lap get underway. No qualifying, of course, in F2. Reverse grid order. We just have a formation lap, and then we back to full racing. Cheers Frik, hy loop weer lekker. En dan gaan ons weer lekker slaap. Frana, if you watch it eventually, would be nice if you also are part of a chat. But yeah, next time. Let's just hope stays overcast and there's no rain later in the race. Will make things really interesting again, because we have two cars handling completely different to the F1 cars. And I know a lot of guys actually complained about wet conditions on F2 cars. Just waiting for everybody to line up. And looks like we actually lost some other drivers as well, down to 10 drivers only. Three lights, four lights, five lights, and away we go. We're just going to have a better start here. It looks like it's going to be Vino. Vino with a much better start than AD. AD is actually falling back. He's going to have to battle for the second place now as well with Lama. Lama also lightning fast. AD's could actually be under fire. He's probably going to lose and drop down to 4th place. AD just holding on for now. Y Racer challenging him there, putting him under pressure. Y Racer Schul's going to have a go on the inside here, and he does. AD down to 4th. Vino now in the lead. Lama 2nd. Y Racer 3rd. Rescue Racer into 5th now. Muna falling back to 6th. Senna 7th. Quintonator 8th. Not Fernando 9th. And Gafbig at the moment in last place. Yeah, pretty much have three by side going into the corners now. Not Fernando with a big spin. Not sure if there might have been contact with a peak there. Oh, and Gafbig actually loses it. Not too far from there. Not Fernando now retired. Not sure. Probably Gafbig also. Don't think not Fernando had some damage there. Just probably had enough. Been a quite challenging night, and there, as we say, Gafbig as well. Gafbig not really trying, actually just ramming into the barrier just to retire, not really wanting to race. Gaff, if you watch the stream later, you know what, if that's how you're going to race, you might as well just stay away from the last race. Let's just ban you for ignoring your quali band of tonight, and we put you out of your misery. You don't need to participate in the last race. 80 down to 8th place. Rescue Racer dropping down. Vino and John Malama still up front, chased by Y Racer. Speed Senna still staying in touch. Muna still solidly in 5th. Rescue Racer and Quintonator, of course, battling away. Look, I understand it's difficult, it's frustrating evening, we all get frustrated, but if you're just going to drive like that into a barrier with your first spin and give up, then yeah, what's the point? Pino now going fastest, 1.5 seconds ahead of, well, 1.6 now ahead of Lama. Lama trying to hang on and at the same time also stay out of Y Racer's reach. Lama at the moment, no answer to Vino. Vino just pulling further and further away. Vino obviously will be smiling having Lama there in second place as some sort of barrier. Looks like he's going slowly. It's all about just being patient. I know it's not your race tonight, but he already scored some points in F1. If he finishes here, it's still points, because everybody here pretty much get points. There's only 10 riders to start with. Stay patient and you can actually go home with a point. Rescue Racer with 3-second time penalty. Senna and Y Racer battling. Never Process also catching up with Lama. Lama will soon be under pressure. Meantime, with the mud in front, gap that Vino has opened up is just over 3 seconds now. And we got a yellow flag. Ooh, car's handful for AD, of course it is a tricky part, there's a couple of tricky corners here. Ooh, and AD too quick on the accelerator there, goes into the wall, damages front wing. Surely will have to stop, but like I said, if you can just stay patient, there is points up for grabs. Tires will be dirty, makes it difficult as well. Of course, no front wing either. We're now going faster, it's just as Quintonator is actually having a look on Rescue Racer and he manages to pull it off. Speed Senna now past Lama, but all 4.6 seconds behind Vino. Gonna have to push to make up that gap, of course. Once you manage to catch up, it's something else to get past him. Oh, and some serious contact there. Couple of guys getting together there. Looks like Lama's one of them. Biggest loser there. Just a few corners ago, he was still in second. Got passed by Senna, and then all of a sudden everything went south. Into second, 7 seconds behind. Vino, of course, still smiling all the way. That gap between him and the rest of the pack is getting bigger and bigger. 80 now with a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. still hanging in there, still trying to get salvage some points. Don't see any pertinent damage here on Lambert's car. No, he's not coming in. Coming around to pit 80. Oh, and 80 again. Just too much gas. Just too quick on the accelerator. Touch the outside curb and put it straight into the barrier coming out of a pit. Not going well. One of the most trickiest corner type of tracks. Lots of corners here that can actually catch you out. You might think it's easy, but it's not that easy. And we saw it in the F1 race as well. Lots of guys actually getting caught out by some of these corners. We're now actually catching Vino now. Gap down to just over 6 seconds. Senna chasing after Muna. Got confirmation now hard Muna's pushing another fastest lap. Risky racer now with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pits. Senna and Y Racer still battling away. Y Racer momentarily in front. Defending on the inside. Senna not going to make it happen this time round. Winner now with a 3-second time penalty, pushing like crazy to counter Muna, and in the process got the 3-second time penalty. Muna's got that gap now to under 6 seconds. 80 again with a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Just got one the previous lap when he came in. And that's of course why the car is stationary for 5 seconds. Serving the penalty first before they can work on the car. New pair of softs going on. Senna now with a time penalty for speeding in the pits. And we got a yellow flag again. Oh, risky racer. Looks like there was no contact with barriers or anything. Ooh, and 80 racks up another 5 seconds. Unsafe exit of a pit lane. Crossing over that solid white line. Lama and Senna coming out of the pits, almost neck on neck. And Muna actually in the lead. Vino obviously stopped for some fresh rubber. Quintonator at the moment running in second, 6.3 seconds behind Muna. Of course both of them are still stopped. Vino now has stopped. Just a quick shout out to our sponsors for tonight. Thank you so much, Frickles. This stream tonight is brought to you courtesy of Frick's Milk Turkeys. Every shot counts. That's dessert on steroids. Nice sweet, but of course that powerful punch in the back end. Just like Frick. risky racer now out of it. Looks like he lost it the back end again. Ooh, Llama actually going off track there. Llama now having a very eventful race. After those first few laps, it looked all good for him. Since that contact, it's been a challenge for him. Of course, now we're down to only 7 runners. Continental just not being able to keep up with Muna in front, gap growing. While Racer catching him. Of course, all the top 3 must all stop. Vino is on fresh rubber. So is Senna and Llama. And we're pretty much halfway. Another 10 laps to go. Frik Eine. Daar is het vir jou. Okay, Continental actually now opening up a gap again to Y Racer. It's over 2 seconds now. Okay, I'm seeing yet another complaint about Llama. Just a reminder, guys, just like comments like that, we can't do much. There is the stewards panel, but we need footage, so that's also why it's important for you guys to save your footage. You're more than welcome to send it via WhatsApp. You can actually also send it to the Turbos and Bullets Twitter account. Just attach your footage, please. We just need that clip of the actual contact or the incident, what you want to report. But without the footage, we can't do anything without the evidence, please, guys. If you have something very risky, please submit it and we can actually send it to the stewards inquiry after the race. Y Racer now finally pitting, but no signs of pitting to our 2 front runners. Both Muna and Continental still on those mediums they started with. As it is now, it looks like Muna might have give or take a pit stop on Vino. Looking good for Muna at the moment, but if Vino starts pushing, it will obviously be a different game. Vino is on the fresher rubber. Well, Frik, the same to wires for the F1 race. If they can just save those footage and submit, they don't need to send the whole hour and a half, whatever footage, is just a few seconds of that actual incident. I'm saying that for the sake of our foreign drivers who's not on the WhatsApp chat like the rest of the guys, who actually can just, send it via WhatsApp. As I said, down to 7 races, 80 at the moment, still at 7th. Llama ahead of him, of course, 80 a lap down, having a bit of a bad time there, 2 laps having to stop on each of those laps for wing replacement. Continental 8.5 seconds behind Muna. Vino falling further back now, gap to Continental is 18 seconds. Senna still 17 seconds behind Vino, but they're both pretty much on new rubber. Y Racer also now in brand new rubber. He decided to go for the soft this time round. Of course, Muna and Continental will push it very, very far. After this, there's still 8 laps to go. And if they can stop on those softs now, then if it goes well, they don't need to stop again. Vino and Senna should be fine towards the end of the race. We're pretty much 7 laps after this, so 11 laps. If you see the leaders already on lap 12 on those mediums, so yeah, Vino and Senna don't need to stop again. I'm not sure how long those softs will last, but if you push it like Y Racer did in the previous, or in 80 years off track again, Y Racer, how he pushed his tyres and how he managed to stretch his stints, it's possible that he can actually finish the race on those softs. He might not need to stop again either. Yeah, Hurrian Match is definitely very judged, but the likes of Risky and Wise is not. So that's why I say they can even share the video clip on Twitter to the Turbo Bullet Twitter account. A couple of guys not on their best behavior tonight, if you look at the stream. Of course, always different from the driver's point of view. And it's not for Owen Muna now with a 5-second penalty, speeding with pit lane, pushing too hard for that pit, trying to make the most of it, and it might actually cost him dearly in the end. And Quintonator actually following the lead, both of them in the pit now. You know, pushing it down there. Okay, Muna's on his way. Here comes Vina now towards the start-finish line. Muna's out of a pit, he will obviously be up to speed now towards the corner section. Vina also there with him, it's going to be neck on neck out of here. Comes Muna back up to speed, Vina's already on speed. We're going to go neck on neck. Muna manages to stay ahead, but of course Vino's tyres will already be up to heat. Oh, and AD is having a very dismal evening, battling to get to grips with his car on this track. Dirty rubber coming back on track doesn't help either. Of course, as I said, Vino's tyres will be heated up already, done a couple of laps. But Muna now on the softer tyre, can he actually open up enough gap to cancel out that penalty he got for entering the pit lane too quick? Gap is open to 1.3 seconds. If a this rate, then that answer will be yes. 6 laps after this, if he can do pretty much a second per lap, he will be safe. Not sure how many penalties Vino is on at the moment. Another yellow flag out. Ooh, Y Racer off track. He went into the barriers. Doesn't look like the front wing is damaged too much. Might have gotten away with it. That promotes Lama into 5th place. Y Racer happy with the car he's staying out, chasing after Lama. So now 4 seconds behind Quintonator, who's running in a solid 3rd. Nice recovery drive, pretty much in both F1 and F2. Shows you again, don't ever give up, just keep on, keep on, keep on. We're now opening up a gap to 2 seconds. You know, struggling to get a hold on. Of course, Muna on the softer tyre, brand new tyres. If you can use it this early on to build a gap to make up for that penalty, you will be fine. Just don't need to get any more penalties. Muna again, fastest lap. Gap is 3-second time penalty. Muna not gonna help him. He's gonna have to. He's already pushing to make up at 5 seconds. Yeah, touch and go. Because that penalties will have a final say who ends where. Senna struggling to catch up with Quintonator. Gap opened up a little bit. Looks like Quintonator is actually also catching Vino. AD holding on, still in there. Frustrating race, but hats off, he didn't quit, he decided to keep on racing. And as a result, obviously, for that, he's actually going to get some points here. He got the penalty as he entered the pit lane. I don't think you serve it immediately with Frick. I think it's only on the next stop. Gap open to 5 seconds now between Muna and Vino. Quintonator still catching Vino and getting away from Senna in the process. Looks like Muna and Quintonator are the two guys on the move at the moment if you look at gaps wise and times. Why racer now with 3 second time penalty? Correct, Frick. Indeed, they do wait the penalty out. That's also we saw earlier in F1 race as well. Got a car stationary for 5 seconds before we start working on it. I just don't think you serve it immediately. Though if you come in for that same pit stop that you sped in the pit lane, they don't actually penalise you for it right then. It's the next round of stops. But yeah, either way, we'll see how it works out at the end. Just only 2 laps to go. It's almost, I know the F2 is a lot shorter than the F1, but it always feels like the F2 is actually going a lot quicker than the F1. Oh, and 80 now with another time penalty. Just be careful because too many penalties and you can end up disqualified. Still dropping further back, Quinton still gaining on Vino, but it's going to be too late. Not with the amount of time that he gains and versus the amount of laps remaining. Yet another yellow flag. Oh, it looks like Vino actually made a mistake. Gap open to 13 seconds. That will definitely unleash Muna. Time penalties or not, that would be enough for Muna to take it. Oh, and 80 with another spin. Tricky part of a track that, and as I said earlier, F2 cars not the easiest for everybody, and especially with the type of corners you have here at Interlagos. On the penultimate lap. Ooh, 80 running off track, taking out a couple of the brake markers. Wide racer trying to catch Lama, but not gonna happen. I think this is pretty much where everybody said. Quintonator now with Vino. As a result of that earlier mistake, Quintonator very close in range now. Frick, you can see it on the stream, the car at the back actually coasting while being lapped. That's why 80's car was actually just, transparent there. That is actually that coasting setting. Can Quinton make a move, actually score 1.5 seconds here on the final lap? Gap open to 14 seconds between Vino and Muna. The time gap is just over a second between Quintonator and Vino. Vino just getting away slightly, that should be enough to hold Quintonator off. Quintonator definitely worth a brilliant drive. Both races, of course, for him was like the recovery drives, especially at F1 race. Also, here was a lot lower earlier, but looks like both races actually are podium finishes to him tonight. And looking at that, looking at the perseverance, of course, tough times like the first lap spin plus wing damage you have to put cost you time, not easy. And I mean, mentally wise, you would be ticked off and you rather rage quit. So considering all of this, both races, I have no alternative but to give drive of the day to Quintonator. Muna, 5-second time penalty, of course it wasn't served. There's just confirmation, because you don't serve it on the lap that you enter into the pit, so only on your next stop. But yeah, at the end he done enough, and Quintonator gets promoted to second, less penalties than Vino. Penalties costing Vino as well. Definitely drive of the day, Quintonator. Well done. Frick, good choice. I guess you in agreement with driver of the day. And just podium here for VF2. Muna, Quintonator and Vino. Quintonator, of course, flying that Mercedes flag high. Of course, number one driver Matter not here tonight. I'm sure he will be proud, because he's not here to witness it, but that pretty much seals the deal. Mercedes is the Constructors Champions. No Alpha drivers tonight, so obviously Renault will get some points on Alpha. Right, just confirmation, Muna first, Quintonator second, Vino third. We lost not Fernando, Gav Peak and Risky Racer. Pretty much Senna in fourth, Lama fifth, Y Racer 6 and 87th complete your 7 finishers. That's pretty much it for tonight, folks. Thanks so much for joining. Thanks for you guys who were part of the chat. Thanks for those comments and sharing in the chat, making it not so lonely. Till the next one, stay safe. If you race or even leave a race for online like this, don't be an idiot on the road. Be safe and take other people around you into consideration. Till next time, cheerio.